Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we do the staple of any Dune channel, the Stillsuit. The basics and a little of their history pulled from the Dune novels, i.e. when variants are used throughout the book history. General spoilers, let's get straight into it. The grey suit prevents water loss, and they are worn like a second skin. A Stillsuit lets someone keep their water loss in the desert at 15 millilitres per day. When the Fremen arrived at the planet Arrakis, they were called the Zen-Sunni. They had worked as labourers in their past and had retained knowledge from that time. One such machine that they would have used, according to the Dune Encyclopedia, is a cryogenic separator. It had been used on a number of worlds for drawing oxygen and other gases from a planet's atmosphere. The Fremen remembered the technique and applied it to the manufacture of still cloth. The fabric, a micro-sandwich in its completed form, was produced in layers. As the Dune Encyclopedia continues, the innermost layer consisted of a porous membrane, allowing the free passage of perspiration, exhaled moisture and other bodily secretions. It was also an efficient insulation, protecting the suit's wearer from evaporative chill. The next two layers accomplished the separation of reusable water. A complex system of fine tubes permeated the fabric. They were equipped with check valves at various points to keep the system's contents from reversing directions. A pumping action is done in the suit through the wearer breathing and heel pumps on the soles, and this builds up pressure in the suit at a preset level, which I assume could be adjusted to the atmospheric conditions where the suit was worn, and the air would be moved into a holding chamber in the suit's hood. And the effect of this was that it cooled the air and cooled the water, and the cold water was drawn back into the suit's system and again run through the suit, and this reduced the temperatures in the suit's layers. This cycle would carry on until the temperature was dropped to a level that could liquefy ammonia that had been produced in the thigh pads that produced urine. When this was liquefied, the air was retained in the hood chamber and ammonia was pumped into the tubing system. This would keep the temperature down until it was converted to a gas by the acquired heat, and then air was cycled through a trigger again. And as the Dune Encyclopedia finishes, passing through this chilled area returned the trapped water vapour, protected from ammonia contamination by the airtight nature of the tubing system, to liquid form. Water then moved through the pump pressure and osmosis to be trapped in the fourth layer. From there, another tubing system routed the reclaimed water to the suit catch pockets, and salt precipitators in the second and third layers removed most of the water's salinity. Body heat passing through the other layers will, with what remains, go into the fifth layer, along with unreclaimed gases. Now, for some of these suits' history, back during the Butlerian Jihad, there were distilling suits used by the Fremen and replicated by Venport Industries for any Fremen who worked for them. And improvements by Venport's perspective were made to the suit. The inner lining reinforced the filter pads, made more efficient. This Stillsuit was quieter than anything he had seen in his old siege. During the novel House Carino, there is a brief scene of a guildsman, not fully transformed, wearing a Stillsuit, and it is said to be of poor workmanship and ill-fitted his warped body. It may not work, but the guildsman is meeting Fremen, so he may need it or may be wearing it to try and get them to aid him by looking like one of them. In God Emperor of Dune, we see Musean Fremen who wear useless stillsuits. The Dune Encyclopedia tells us in a number of his journals the God Emperor referred to them as sand dandies, at whose dress a true Fremen would laugh until no laughter remained. When people notice during the reign of his father that the Fremen are the source of the Emperor Muad'Dib's power, to advance their positions, some would adopt a custom, wearing stillsuits beneath their courtiers' clothes, much like the Museum Fremen from a certain perspective. This reaction was not appreciated, as you can imagine, by the Fedaykin and Paul particularly, as the suits did not work at all. And finally we dip into Heretics of Dune, where a spice smuggler called Tuek, as the book tells it, the stillsuit under his robe was only for display. No pumps or catch pockets, no uncomfortable and time-consuming adjustments required. So the stillsuit's perception as a savour of life over time was disregarded to be a relic worn for history or advancement. A sad end. So now friends, I turn things over to you. Something to say? Drop me a comment down below.